All right, welcome to our War Media Bears pregame for Week 11. The 3-7 Bears are in Georgia to take on the 4-6 Atlanta Falcons. I am Saul Rodriguez, along with my war colleagues Ryan Bukovetsky and Joe Tanksley. How are we doing today, guys?
We're doing pretty good. I can't say we, but I'm doing pretty good.
Speak for me, Joe. Go ahead. Speak for me.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to hear. It's good to hear. At least you guys are both cast. So, we have a pretty intriguing matchup this week. In more ways than one. The Bears come in while not doing so high in the win-loss column. They have a quarterback that has had an insane couple of weeks with a pair of offensive player of the week awards in the Georgia native Justin Fields. While the Falcons, come into this one 4-4 in the last 8, and to a lot of people, they're overachieving. 538 had them projected at just 6 wins. So I kind of want to just start off with asking you guys, what are your initial thoughts when you look at this Falcons team? We'll start with you, Ryan.
Well, they're going to be kind of similar to the Bears, all about the run game offensively. Marcus Mariota, I guess, can do some stuff with his arm, but we kind of know what he's like that. Not necessarily a guy that you fear that can beat you, but he can put on one of those games where he can look like Marcus Mariota, like Heisman Trophy winner or candidate. I forgot exactly if he won that thing or not. But he can be dangerous. I think Justin Fields has to continue to be the best player on the field for the Bears to really have a shot in this one. But definitely when it comes to Atlanta, I think stopping an X-Bear in Cordell Patterson is going to be a big key for them.
The thing about these two teams is that they're pretty similar. They both find ways. It's going to sound corny, but they like to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. They find ways to lose, and I think that this is definitely they're very similar. Like Ryan said, Marcus Mariota. He's not, he's just a run of the mill. The thing that's scary about him though is that he's mobile and he can get out the pocket. And with the team like the Bears who have not been able to get any pressure on the quarterback, my fear is that he's going to be able to hurt the Bears defense with his legs, like so many other teams have been able to do this season. And I also agree, Justin Fields has been the best player on the field, the last, 3 or 4 weeks running now, whatever team they faced. And he's going to have to continue that this week in order for the Bears to have a shot at victory. I think that this is definitely, a game that the Bears could win, but they've been in all the games that they played in the last few weeks, and they've had chances to win all of them. So I think for the Bears, they're a team that has to play a perfect game. Like there isn't any room for mistakes with the Bears, as we saw last week. All the penalties that they've had, even the pick six, which he came and got right back. When I'm talking about Fields, but there's no room for margin for error with the Bears. If they want to win, they have to play perfect the whole game.
Yeah, no, 100. Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Ryan.
I just wanted to bring up something that I just kind of thought of. I know we're probably not there yet, but we're getting pretty damn close. How's the draft pick work in this one? Because Atlanta is one of those teams that's going to be looking for a quarterback. You're the same record. This is like a tie break for a higher pick kind of thing. You wonder if this is maybe one of those games we kind of look back like, ooh, it's kind of nice if the Bears lost that one against Atlanta come draft time.
Yeah, no, that's true. And a lot of people have been saying that too. Oh, go ahead, Joe.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, I was gonna say I've been seeing a lot of that too online. Like, we've gotten to the point where, hey, if the Bears just keep losing every game, it's not, it's a win-win. Like it's not, you know what I'm saying? Like it's not a bad thing. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, I could definitely see that, especially this game with these two teams, that just are very similar. And it's funny because it kind of does still remind me of that. As much as Detroit doesn't have a run game like this necessarily, but they still just two teams that this game could go either way. So if the Bears lose this one, I don't think people are going to be too upset about that. But do you want to say something, Joe?
No, nobody's been upset about a Bears loss because the quarterbacks are playing. The quarterbacks are playing well.
You'd be surprised.
You know what?
People were actually upset about that.
Here's the thing. I was really upset the Bears lost last week because you can't lose to this Detroit Lions team. But
especially like that.
Not like that. Not like that. And you know, it really, you know, it really, you know, it was an ugly game. It was an ugly game. The penalties really hurt them. The pick six hurt them. People, you know, I mean, the defense is atrocious. But at the end of the day, you know, 2 weeks in a row without the block punt, without the pick six, you know, the Bears win the game. The Bears win the game. So, like I said, they have to play perfect in order to win. As far as, you know, the draft status, you know, after this week, the Bears got a tough road ahead. In Atlanta Falcons, they play in the NFC South, which is not, you know, you know. So if you need to win the games that you can win, like, you know, it really sucks that they, you know, lost last week. But like, if you can win the game, you need to go out there and win the game.
Yeah, and you guys kind of talked about it too a little bit before, is how these two teams love to run. And you know, the Bears are actually first. These are the top two teams in rushing yards, and the Bears are first 400 yards ahead of the Falcons. And the Bears are going to be without Khalil Herbert now, but when you guys, you know, obviously you have Fields and Montgomery, it's not necessarily, you know, a giant loss because of, you know, they, you know, get great runners anyways. But on the other side, you got Mariota, as Ryan mentioned as well. He's actually 10 yards away from a career high in rushing yards. Obviously, he hasn't had many opportunities to start in general, but what do you guys think about these two running games, like when they match up against each other? Obviously, again, you guys have said that, you know, with the former Bear Cordarrelle Patterson, who, you know, is a Pro Bowler for the Bears a couple of times. How do you guys see these run games stacking up to each other? And do you think somebody has the upper hand over the other? We'll start with you, Joe.
Oh man, I think I'm gonna go ahead and say the Bears have the edge of running game in the running game because they've dominated. They've actually, you know, gone week out and week out as far as, you know, the offensive line play, physically dominated teams, you know, in that aspect of the game. And you know, we have Justin Fields, you know, who's, you know, the most dynamic on the field, and you know, in these design runs, and even when the play breaks down, he's hurting teams for big chunks of yards. And that aspect is where I give the edge to the Bears. You know, the Falcons do have Cordarrelle Patterson, you know, and they've, you know, figured out a way, you know, to unlock him and use him properly, which is pretty much another indictment on Matt Nagy, because Dave Ragone was on the Bears staff with Cordarrelle Patterson. So I wonder how many of these suggestions did he have that Nagy didn't listen to? You know what I mean? Because he was trying to run a system. But that's neither here or there. But the difference is going to be on the side of the defense. Is like whose team is really committed to stopping the run and you know, and limiting those big plays in the run game. I would have to say that, you know, the Atlanta Falcons defense is probably a little bit better in stopping the run. The talent on that side of the ball is a little bit better for them. The secondary is kind of weak, which is where I actually see the Bears having some success this week. And, you know, people keep talking about when is this going to, you know, Justin's going to have this game where he, you know, he breaks out and throws 30 times and gets 300 or so yards. It's coming, but these things have to happen naturally, you know. And teams, you know, they got enough on tape, you know, where teams have to sell out to stop the run and stop him from running. So those plays are going to be there to make it. Maybe it's going to happen this week.
Yeah, that's a great point, Joe, with the Dave Ragone. I didn't even think about that. That is interesting to think, because we're already just seeing how much Matt Nagy has screwed this thing up, just how Justin Fields is playing. But that's, I guess, neither here nor there. But that was just a poignant comment from you. Yeah, I'm with you again. I think the overall tipping factor is Justin Fields. He's really the main game breaker out there. I don't think Cordarrelle Patterson can break one for sure. But it just, I don't really expect that, I guess, if you will, from Cordarrelle Patterson. But knowing this Bears defense is definitely a possibility out there. And that might be the other X factor working against them is we'll see which defense, like you said, comes out a little bit more stout, I guess, if you will, against the run. But what I expect from this game is this should be a high moving game. I think that clock's going to be rolling.
Oh
Time of
yeah.
possession is going to be huge. I think whoever can really control time of possession, but it's definitely going to be those who can generate the big time play, because neither passing offense really scares you. But think about that. If you get a bomb of 80 yards, that could be the difference in this game because of how well these offenses run and how struggling they can be in the passing game.
Yeah, I would agree with that. You know, who's going to make the big play? Is it going to be Lawson for the Falcons? Is it going to be Claypool or Mooney for us? You know, we've seen Cole Kmet being being unlocked the last couple of weeks with some big plays and scoring touchdowns. So there, who's going to be able to make the big plays to win the game?
All right. So yeah, no, you're right, Joe. And then also, I got to ask Ryan this last week in the post game. But we talked a little bit about Sanborn in the pregame, but his performance, he had a great performance of 12 tackles in week 10 in the week 10 loss, including 2 sacks. And he's impressed everyone, including Ryan Poles. But what did you think about his performance, and do you think he'll be able to sustain it over the course of the season?
So I think that Sanborn, played a very good football game. He played downhill. He had very good instincts. I know Coach Eberflus, he talked about those instincts. He was always around the ball, and he played hard. He was able to come up with a big time interception that was negated by a bad penalty call that would have sealed the game. So he was out there making plays. Got 2 sacks. He was balling, and he's gonna have to continue to step up, this week, especially going against Cordero Patterson, being an undrafted free agent, going against somebody like Cordero Patterson. This is probably the week where you see that difference in talent level, and hopefully, his instincts and his knowledge of the game, and help him make some plays.
Yeah, and yeah, I think I've loved the way he's played and just the way he's handled himself too, is especially for a rookie. So hopefully it lasts, and it's a cool story, especially just because he's an Illinois native. So hopefully it keeps going. But finally, guys, I want to get your score predictions for this week. So we'll start with you, Ryan. What do you think is going to go down today?
Well, I don't think you can set the score too high. They're not going to have enough clock to get that many points. You're going to have this game running down. We might be into halftime by like 1 o'clock straight, and maybe game over by 2:15. Make sure you're not in the bathroom too long, otherwise you're gonna miss this entire game. I think I'll go. I just feel like Justin Fields is gonna be too much of the best player on the field for the Bears to lose this one. And I can definitely see a ton of avenues where the Bears lose this, because Joe is 100% correct. If they don't play perfect or about as near perfect as you can possibly play, it's very hard for the Bears to win games against really anybody. And we've kind of seen that over the last few weeks. It just really doesn't matter. I'm very worried that the defense is kind of locked in for giving up about 30 a game right now. And so I'm going to give them, I guess, maybe a little bit of credit that they'll figure out some stuff against a team that's not as dynamic with, Marcus Mariota as the quarterback. But I didn't think necessarily Detroit would be that dynamic with Jared Goff, albeit they have been scoring points. They have been doing some stuff offensively, just like Atlanta has so far this year. So I think I will go Bears just by a little bit, and I think I'll go 23-19.
I don't know. You know what? You make a good point about the time of possession, Ryan. But last week's game went really fast. It went by really fast too, and both of those teams were able to put up 30 points. So yeah, I think the score is going to be a little bit higher. I'm going to go, 28. No, I'll say 31. 31-25 Bears.
Ooh, I like it. I like it.
In mine actually it sounds like I'm trying to one up Ryan like Price is Right over here, but mine actually I was actually gonna go 24-21.
What are we playing, Saul? I want who's ever closest. Let me see that prize, baby.
I know I'm just waiting to hear actual retail price.
I want to spin that wheel. Where is he? Where you at, Drew?
Yeah, so I'm gonna go 24-21. Bears win by a field goal, but I think it's really just gonna and I mean, yeah, you're Ryan, you make a good point in the sense that they're probably they have if they give up 30, I mean it could
Can I
easily
make a
be a lot.
request with your score, Saul? Can we do it like
Yeah.
TCU style, where the Bears are running on the field with like 10 seconds and everything running down, making this field goal to win it? Can we get a little of that in there? That was fantastic to see yesterday.
Oh man, 100. Yeah, I mean, I was watching that that unfold on Twitter. I'm just like, what is going on? At that, I was like,
Get him
because
out
I don't really
there,
keep up with
Ryan,
college
get out! I want to see Flusy yelling at Cairo, get out there!
Hey, as long as the goalposts, they were intact, right? Did they stay intact?
Right.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Because they're at Baylor, right? But who knows? Justin Fields back in his homecoming. Maybe those Georgia fans show out.
That is true. Yeah, that is true. But that is a good place to wrap up for this week's pregame, guys. Thanks for joining me, Ryan Bukovetsky and Joe Tanksley. I am Salvador Rodriguez. Hopefully everyone enjoys the game. Take it easy, guys.
Take it easy. Peace.
See you later.